because I think they do legitimately want to believe that like the radical socialist narrative works, but it doesn't work.
Listen,
Bernie Sanders is objectively popular. It doesn't work if the Democrats don't lean into that scared narrative as well. If the Democrats go, oh, radical.
Fan, but I'll tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily.
Thank you, Demacius, for the playlist.
But whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run. And they took it away. They said they're going to use the 25th Amendment. They're going to hit you hard. Either we can do it the nice. I know exactly, because I know a lot of people on the other side, believe it or not. And they said, we'll do it the nice way or we'll do it the hard way. And he said, all right. So that, I mean, they've really taken, what they've done is pretty incredible. And now I'm running against somebody else, and we're leading. We're leading. So I'm not complaining. I'm saying it's a...
Nope, he knows the polls. He knows the polls ain't looking good. He knows the polls ain't looking good.
That we cherish. We cherish this Constitution. To have done it this way is pretty severe, pretty horrible. You would have thought they would have gone out to a vote. They would have had a primary system. They would have done something. But to just take it away from him like he was a child. And he's a very angry man right now, I can tell you that. He's not happy with Obama, and he's not happy with Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. She is crazy, too. She's not happy with any of the people that told him that you've got to leave.
She's the GOAT.
Put
some respect on it, dude.
I think he
Put some fucking respect on my GOAT's name, okay? That is Nancy LaGoat Pelosi.
As you probably have noticed. And he had a rough debate. But that doesn't mean that you just take it away like that.
Do we have a blast-off meme chat?
He had 14 million votes. She had no votes. She got no votes. And I think she's crashing. I think when people find out, and I think people are starting to find out what a bad job she did.
Do y'all have a good blame for this?
On the border. She's trying to say she had nothing to do with the border. She had everything. She was appointed to head the border. And then they said, Border Czar, oh, she loved that name. She loved that name. But she never went there. She went to a location once along the border, but that was a location that you would love to go and have dinner with your husband or whoever. That was a location that was not part of the problem.
Yeah, I heard she said
not really going to the border. So essentially, she never went to the border. And if you listen to Tom Homan, if you listen to the great border people, Brandon Judd from Border Patrol, if you listen to Paul, I mean, so many different people. I speak to them all the time. And I did when I was president. We had the best border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Millions of people coming in, and our country cannot sustain it. Our country is going down because of this, because of incompetent people. So I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them.
Oh, he looks forward to them, all right. He was flailing, though. 10th, now he needs to.
September 25th. And I think they'll be very revealing. I think they'll be very revealing. Do you have any questions, please?
All right, folks, we already blasted off. No personal news, no nothing. Right off the rip-a-roni. Right off the rip, baby. We're going right into it. We're diving right into it. All the fucking politics perverts are loving it.
I think she's worse than Biden because he got forced into the position. She was there long before.
Politics perverts got to be loving it right now.
She destroyed California as the AG. But as the DA, she destroyed San Francisco. A friend of mine, Bob Tisch, you all know the Tisch family. He was in many cities with companies. He said the greatest city
we're gonna go back
in the country is San Francisco.
Trump has accepted 3 debates. I know.
20 years ago, and he passed away a while ago. And he would be looking down and said, "What happened?" He thought it was the best city in the country. He had divisions there, lows. And he would be looking down in horror now when he sees she destroyed no cash bail, weak on crime. She's terrible. And yet they weaponized the system against me. They have me. I got so many lawyers. Now they want to delay cases. I won the big case in Florida.
Loser talk.
I won the big
loser talk. This is loser talk. You sound like a loser. You're whining too much.
This judge was a fair but brilliant judge. And as you probably heard, the big documents case, I won it. Now, Biden lost it because he didn't have presidential immunity. He didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He lost it. But the I call it prosecutor, special counsel, special prosecutor to me. He, appointed by him and appointed by Garland, he said the man's incompetent. He can't stand trial, but he can run for president. But we no longer have to worry about that because we have somebody that, in my opinion, is more incompetent. She couldn't pass her bar exam and lots of other things. And
that's
she should
such
not
a
be
good
in a position
fucking,
because
I love that bar. It's such a bad, such a stupid thing to say. It is such an objectively dumb thing to shit on Kamala Harris over. She's literally a courtroom prosecutor and became the attorney general, dog. So many fucking lawyers failed a bar exam, especially in a state like California. You're so dumb. You are so stupid for saying that.
Yeah.
I love when he's like, yeah, Kamala Harris is so stupid. She fucking couldn't pass the bar exam. It's like, bro, she was the attorney general. What are you talking about?
Well, it changes around a little bit. I'm getting other voters. Perhaps, you know, I was doing very well with black voters, and I still am. I seem to be doing very well with...
shut the fuck up. Don't be like a goddamn chatter, okay? They're not mic'd up. The reporters are not mic'd up. You're like a chatter right now.
Black women, but I do seem to be doing very well with other segments, extremely well with Hispanic.
It's like a gray name. What are you
Jewish
doing?
voters way up. White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
White males?
No, I don't know. All we're doing is giving you
we're killing it with the white males.
Stats that you have. It could be that I'll be affected somewhat with black females, where we're doing pretty well. And I think ultimately they'll like me better because I'm going to give them security, safety, and jobs. I'm going to give them a good economy. We have a very bad economy right now. We could literally be on the throes of a depression, not recession, a depression. And they can't have that. They can't have that. So I think I'm going to do well with everybody, especially when the facts are out. Yeah, please, in the back.
White males, we're doing great with white males. Black females, not so much. It's like, bro, like black women vote like 96% for the Democratic Party consistently. What are you talking about?
He's not very popular with anybody. I think that this election
like
maybe is better
have historically voted by like
but I think other than Josh Shapiro,
numbers for the Democratic Party
good
always.
Choices, but Josh Shapiro is not one of them. He's caused a lot of damage with a lot of people. And I don't think he would have been better. I think he would have been maybe the equivalent, maybe not as good. But they had some people that they were looking at that were good, far superior to her. They actually had a story where they had everybody, including, they had like 10 people that she was looking at and her. And they said she was the worst of all. In other words, she was the worst out of the 10 people and her.
No, Trump was not turning them around for the 2024 election. Don't be delusional. That was non-college educated men.
We'd like to do 3 debates.
Including black men.
We think we should do 3 debates. We think Fox and ABC. And we also have CBS is going to do the vice presidential debate. So CBS will do vice presidential. And I have to tell you, J.D. Vance has really stepped up. He's doing
Why are conservatives saying she could have picked a better VP? Coping. They want to be like, oh, he's bad. Because I think they do legitimately want to believe that, like, the radical socialist narrative works, but it doesn't fucking work.
Listen,
Bernie Sanders is objectively popular. It doesn't work if the Democrats don't lean into that fucking scared narrative as well. If the Democrats go, oh, radical socialist, you mean feeding children? Wow, so scary. You mean fucking paid family leave? So scary. If Dems do that and they defend those policies, then these guys look like fucking dumb baboons. Okay? Oh, he's so mad about the crowd size.
25,000 people and 25,000 people.
Look, he's
just couldn't get him in.
He's activated. He hates the crowd size.
25,000 people, and 20,000 people couldn't get in.
Oh, he's losing his mind.
We had so many. Nobody ever mentions that. When she gets 1,500 people, and I saw it yesterday on ABC, which they said, oh, the crowd was so big. I have 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the crowd size, and no, they never say the crowd was big. That's why I'm always saying turn around the cameras. I'm so glad you asked that. I think it's so terrible when you say, well, she has 1,500 people, 1,000 people, and they talk about, oh, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm.
Oh,
no, you don't. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party
He's crashing out.
Has the enthusiasm. Because people want to see crime stopped. They want to see a country that's respected. Think of it. If I were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where it never happened, zero chance. You wouldn't have had October 7th of Israel. You wouldn't have the horrible withdrawal. And I don't mean the withdrawal, because the withdrawal was fine. I was ready to withdraw from Afghanistan, and we were going to do it with dignity and strength. And we were
Remember that taking ownership over, withdrawing from Afghanistan.
We wouldn't have had
pro-peace,
13 great soldiers. I know the
He's
families
presenting
of
himself
those
as the peace
soldiers.
candidate.
Well,
remember that, Democrats. Remember that.
Soldiers killed, and we wouldn't have had 45 soldiers obliterated. No legs,
best
no arms,
soldiers.
the face. None of that would have happened. And you wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation, because inflation was caused by their bad energy problems. Now they've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes. I don't know if you know, they're drilling now because they had to go back because gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel. So they said, we better do what Trump. But the day after the election, if they won, you're going to have fuel prices go through the roof. Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. People want gasoline-propelled cars. They want hybrids. They want to have everything, and they want electric. But they want everybody to have an electric car. We don't have enough electricity. We couldn't make enough electricity for that. And you know what else? The weight of a car, the weight of a truck. They want all trucks to be electric. Little things that a lot of people don't talk about. The weight of a truck is 2.5 times. It's 2.5 times heavier. You would have to rebuild every bridge in this country if you were going to do this ridiculous policy. So, but on crowd size, in history, for any country, nobody's had crowds like I have, and you know that. And when she gets 1,000 people and everybody starts jumping, you know that if I had 1,000 people would say, that's the end of his campaign. I have hundreds of thousands of people. In South Carolina, I had 88,000 people. In Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me. But she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back. No. The enthusiasm is with me and the Republican Party because they want to stop crime. They want to stop people from pouring into our country from places unknown and from countries unknown, from countries that nobody ever heard of. That's where the enthusiasm. Yeah. I don't know if I can or not. I got him elected. Without me, he wouldn't be governor. I got him elected. He was doing terribly. I got him elected. With that being said, I hope we can repair it, but if we don't, the people are still the people, and they're going to vote. We're leading in Georgia by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot. So, but I don't know. Now in Pennsylvania,
that's
I
not
have great
true.
relationships. In Georgia, I do too, but unfortunately not with the governor. I've never understood it. When you get somebody elected, they're supposed to like you. He's not exactly, for some reason, and you'll have to ask him about that. Yeah, I'd love to see it get repaired. I think that if we don't win Georgia, Georgia is a big win, is a big state. So I won Alabama by a record. Nobody's ever gotten that many votes. I won South Carolina by a record. You don't win Alabama and South Carolina by records and lose Georgia. It doesn't happen. And the people of Georgia understand that. There was tremendous anxiety and problems in Georgia. A lot of people say, what happened? And we have to, all we want is honest elections. If we have honest elections in Georgia, if we have honest elections in Pennsylvania, we're going to win them by a lot. Well, he actually said it two ways. First, he said it incorrectly, then he corrected himself. Do you agree with that, right? You know, if you watch him, he said it two ways. No.
How high is the chance MAGA riots? They wwon't, dude. People are like worried about a January 6th.
90 minutes to bring it up at the debate.
Y'all are fucking
talked about that at the
like.
debate.
I think Democrats are so scared all the time.
Everyone said, "Oh,
January 6th and its aftermath, its actual like legal consequences, legitimately shut this shit down." Small business owners have too much to fucking lose, big dog. They're not gonna fucking go out there again and do it again. That only happens once, okay? That only happens one time. That happens when you feel like the government has your back. Of course they're not gonna arrest me. What do you mean? I'm a white guy. I'm a business owner. The cops are on my side. Once they recognized the cops are not on their side and the courts are not on their side, they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's why ever since January 6th, you rarely ever see massive crowds for Trump. You saw like 11 people at his fucking court appearances. Where'd they go? The Republican Party pulled the infrastructure, the astroturfing infrastructure Trump had. Literally, they pulled the chair from underneath him instantly, okay? You have to remember that. The Republican Party has nothing in terms of numbers. Donald Trump is a unique candidate that can actually draw a crowd, certainly, but without the Republican Party's AstroTurf strategies, Turning Point USA shipping in people with buses, all these other groups, all these other organizing entities, these think tanks, busing people to certain places, once they recognized that they got legal liability, it was done. That's why you saw like 12 of the most mentally ill people you've ever seen sitting outside of the fucking courtroom for Donald Trump's court proceedings and shit.
Great danger. We're great danger of being in World War III. That could happen. No, after their convention, yeah. And I'm going out. Actually, I'm going out to certain places.
Am I going to the DNC? Yeah, I talked to them this morning.
Not even for me. I'm trying to help. When I go out to Wyoming or when I go out to Montana, or I'm going to different places to help people. And I don't have to go there because I'm leading those states, as you know, by 35, 40, 50 points. I'm leading by record numbers. I'm going because I want to help senators and congressmen get elected.
What happened to my chat?
Congressmen and women get elected. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
My chat just broke for no reason. That was weird.
The upcoming what?
Oh, yes, I will be streaming from the DNC. I'm trying to get a place at the DNC, like a permanent space at the DNC where I can stream from inside the DNC. We're going to see if we can do that.
Musk. So, yeah, sure. So Elon called me. As you know, he endorsed me full-throated. Great endorsement.
I'm going every day.
Elon a lot. He respects me. And not easy for him to endorse, to be honest with you. You know, it takes courage to endorse people. Many people have courage and many people don't. He does have courage. And Elon endorsed me, and he asked me whether or not I'd do a show on Monday, and I think it's going to be Monday night. And I believe he's the host of the show. So it'll be very interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. I look forward to it. That'll be done on Monday night. Well, you have a lot of misinformation spread about China, and you have a lot of misinformation spread about a lot of different places. I think I'm going to get along great with China. President Xi of China and I were very good friends. We met right here, right in that, except we had a beautiful sofa there, as opposed to what we have right now. Right now we have you. But President Xi and I had a very good relationship until COVID. And I held him responsible for COVID. It broke up our relationship. But I think we're going to have a great relationship. And I think it's going to be mutually beneficial. But we cannot have it where China is taking advantage of the United States. And that's what they were doing, as you very well know. Yes, please.
China. It seems like they're going back into the trans stuff, which worries me as a trans woman. Do you think the Dems will respond directly? They have Walz on the side. Walz is the VP. They have to respond to it. It's fucking awesome. That's why I love the Walz situation.
That if you
Democrats should always be like, dude, you're just trying to bully 1% of the population. You're fucking gross. You're weird. You want to do penis inspection day at school. You're a fucking loser. And possibly a pedophile. Shut the fuck up. That's all they need to do. Every single good policy, like tampons in bathrooms, that's bad. You don't want people to have menstrual products in their bathrooms for free. The fuck's wrong with you? They have to sully everything by being like, oh, but they're going to put it in the boys' rooms. It's like, no, they're not. But even if they were, who gives a fuck?
But I said peacefully and patriotically. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken to, and you've seen, Maggie, I was at the mall. I was at the Washington Monument. I was at the whole thing. I had crowds. I don't know who's ever had a bigger crowd than I have, but I had it many times. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken before was that day. And I'll tell you,
if you have a switcher like a Blackmagic ATEM, they might have a clean camera feed you could use for your stream at DNC. I don't know about that.
Going to the Capitol. But you never see the picture of the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken, I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours,
oh my God,
real estate, same everything.
Oh my
same
God.
number of people, if not.
Oh
we
my
had
God,
more.
he's comparing. He's
And
white
they
boy
said he had 1
MLK,
million
baby.
people, but I had 25,000
He's right.
people. But when you look at the exact
He's
same
right.
picture,
I'm
and
Martin
everything's the
Luther
same
King for
because
the
it was
whites.
the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it.
I'm
and you
bigger
look
than
at the picture of
MLK.
his crowd, my crowd. We actually had more people.
He
said
said
I had
he had more
25,000,
people than
and he had
MLK.
1 million
Yo!
people. And I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, please.
Oh, you liked him? Good. Isn't it crazy now Trump is talking about January 6th so often, should have reminding people what he did? Yeah, I don't know why he
Yeah, sure.
that's such a dumb
We have a
idea for him.
Constitution. It's a very important document, and we live by it. She has no votes, and I'm very happy to run against her. I'm not complaining from that standpoint. And I hate to be defending him, but he did not want to leave. He wanted to see if he could win. They said, you're not going to win after the debate. They said, you're not going to win. You can't win. You're out. And at first they said it nicely, and he wasn't leaving. And then you know it better than anybody. Wait a minute. So when you think about it, they said at first they were going to go out to another vote. They were going to go through a primary system, a quick primary system, which it would have to be. And then it all disappeared, and they just picked a person that was the first out. She was the first loser, okay? So we call her the first loser. She was the first loser.
Is that what you call her?
When during the primary system, during the Democrat.
Damn, should be pretty easy to fucking defeat
was the
then,
first
don't you
one to
think?
win.
Wouldn't this be a gift?
She had no votes.
Wouldn't you be talking like it's a major gift for
Bad
you
debater.
then? She's such a big fucking loser.
That's
Why are you
not the thing I'm
mad?
looking forward to, but
Why are you mad then?
Obviously,
Why are you
it's not-
chirping?
she
You're
never made it to
chirping.
Iowa.
You're chirping.
then for some reason, and
Why
I
are you
know
so
he
bent out
regrets
of
it, you
shape?
do
She's a
too.
fucking
He
loser.
picked her, and she turned on him too. She was working with the people that wanted him out.
He
But
can't
the
even
fact
come up with
that
a good
you can
nickname.
be-
God, he's
get no
so
votes,
sauceless.
lose in the primary system. In other words, you had 14 or 15 people. She was the first one out, and that you can then be picked to run for president. It seems to me actually unconstitutional. Perhaps it's not. Please.
Kamabla. Kamabla.
So I've run against Hillary, and I've run against various other people. I would say that in terms of intelligence, Hillary was far superior. I would say that. Hillary was smart. She was her own worst enemy in many ways, but she was smart, very smart. Okay? If you ask me to compare them, please. Would you repeat that question, please? You have to speak up. Yes, sir. It's a hard room because it's very big, if you know. So this is worth $18 million. Oh, I see. Yeah. So I think the abortion issue has been very much tempered down, and I've answered, I think, very well in the debate, and it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions, as you know. And I think it's when I look, for 52 years, they wanted to bring abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and that's Democrats, Republicans, and independents, and everybody. Liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back in the states, and I did that. Now the states are voting. And frankly, some of the votes are much more, if you could say, liberal than you would think. Ohio turned out to be, they had a big vote, and it turned out to be a much more liberal standing than people would have thought. Kansas, the same thing. And then you have Texas, and you have other places where it may be different. But the issue has been brought back to the states now. And like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly. I think that that's a very important thing. I think when you have to follow your heart. But when you don't believe in the exceptions, I think it's much tougher. It's a much tougher issue. But about 82% of Republicans do believe in exceptions. I think and a lot of them are changing their mind and coming even further. I think that abortion has become much less of an issue It's a very small, I think it's actually going to be a very small issue. What I've done is I've done what every Democrat and every Republican wanted to have done, and we brought that issue back to the states. And now the states are voting on it. And frankly, some of the votes are a lot different than people would have thought. But it's the vote of the people is taking care of it. And, you know, when you think about the the Democrats are really the radical ones on this because they're allowed to do abortion on the 8th and 9th month and even after birth. If you look at your new...
Democrats want to kill your children. They want the Guatemalan migrants to come into the hospital and kill your child after birth. They're doing it, folks. They're doing it to only the whites.
He said the baby will be born. We will put the baby aside and we will decide with the mother what we're going to do.
This is so good. It's so good. Please keep it up.
Minnesota
keep it up, sir.
This guy agrees with that. He is the most liberal. Look, between her and him, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a combination. So I'll use the word progressive. You know, they want to go progressive. They don't like the word liberal. I like liberal better. I think it's more appropriate because nobody knows what progressive means. But they now like to use the word progressive. But there's certainly never been anybody so liberal like these two, or even close. I think the abortion issue has been taken down many notches. I don't think it's a big factor anymore, really. And when people hear what I said in the debate, and I think I said it very well during the debate, we brought it back to the states.
People totally forgot that we are stopping women from getting abortions.
Very importantly, and you think about this, assuming you have exceptions. If you don't have exceptions, it's a more difficult thing. At the same time, there are people that strongly feel that way, and you have to follow your heart, and you should follow your heart. But that issue is very much subdued.
I love how stupid Republicans are. I love you, Chatter. I mean, my state's vote decision isn't bad.
Yes.
That's really interesting that you say that because it's really odd that many states have actually voted to preserve abortion, to protect it. 75% of the country considered Roe v. Wade to be the law of the land, and literally red states have actually voted to preserve
entertainment. They wanted hunting,
to protect abortion rights. Okay, Republicans are the ones who are going against the wishes of the population. You dumbass, got them. You didn't get shit. Shut up. Take a day off.
The opposite way. They had very strong gun laws, and now they have gone the opposite way, where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%. And remember this, what is the toughest gun law in the United States? Chicago. On July 4th, 117 people were shot and 17 died. The toughest gun laws in the United States are
weirdly enough, Illinois as a state is so goddamn close to states with no fucking gun laws.
Afghanistan does not have that. Afghanistan, by the way,
it's weird. It's almost like America is a network of states that are united. And like, if you have a state that has no gun laws whatsoever, that kind of fucks it up for the states with gun laws. You know what I mean? It's just odd. Also, having said that, even the gun violence rate in Illinois is still lower than fucking red states. You're so wrong.
I had a talk with Abdul. Abdul was...
People just always go, Chicago, Chicago. It's like, bro, gun violence in the state of Illinois is still literally lower than red states. Gun violence in red states are still higher. You want to know why? You want to know why? Because they have more guns. That's it.
We had the disaster of the lift, where people were falling off airplanes from 3 times the height of the World Trade Center. I mean, terrible. But now our country has to be respected again. Please. Go ahead, please. I'd be against that. That Kamala is in favor of not giving Israel weapons? Yeah. That's what I hear. Look, she's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad to Jewish people.
She's been very bad.
And
I'd be very good to Israel.
I know
I'd be very
Jewish,
good to Israel. I'll hug and kiss Israel.
Kamala.
I love Israel.
Over me, they should have their head examined. if you think about it, I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. I even built the embassy.
Talking about American Jews,
I
bro.
gave them no Iran deal. The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made
It's
it
like, I gave the
easily.
Jews Golan Heights. It's like, bro, what are you saying?
Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We
Like,
would have gotten along with Iran. I was
This
looking forward
is,
to it.
this unironically, I'm sorry, this is anti-Semitic. Like, and I'm not saying that in like a woke, like, you're being anti-Semitic. It quite literally is the assumption that like every fucking Jewish person in America is like, oh my God, Donald Trump gave Israel Golan Heights. Well, I guess I'm voting for him now. Like, you only think this way if you are straight up anti-Semitic and you literally think like every Jew, like they don't have any interest in fucking progressive policies. They have no interest in like preserving abortion rights or whatever. They're like, oh my God, Golan Heights. Well, that seems fucking sick for me. I know who I'm voting for. It's so stupid. You're dumb. You're dumb. I'm not just saying that, like, I'm not saying this to simply be woke when I talk about like Jews are not a monolith, okay? It's just so stupid. No one makes voting decisions like that, okay? He's literally, he has no way of comprehending this electoral calculation beyond like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I gave the Jews Golan Heights.
Well,
That's
I know
it.
Willie Brown very well.
Oh, sick, man. I'm so glad that Israel permanently annexed a piece of Syria. I'm sure that every Jewish person is just only focused on
Emergency
that.
landing. This was not a pleasant landing, and Willie was he was a little concerned. So I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but he told me terrible things about her. But this is what you're telling me anyway, I guess. But he
He should
had a
double
big
down. He
part
should be
in
like,
what
Kamala
happened
Harris's
with
husband,
Kamala.
not a real Jew.
I don't know. Maybe he's
Like,
changed his tune, but he
that'll do
He
it.
was not a fan of hers very much at that point. Yeah, I do. Go ahead. On what? Well, I'm going to announce that. I'm going to actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future, so I don't want to tell you now. But Florida does have a vote coming up on that, and I think probably the vote will go in a little more liberal way than people thought. But I'll be announcing that at the appropriate time. Please.
Oh, I can't go a minute without hearing something about Jews on Twitch. Brother, I don't know if you know this, but we're watching Donald Trump right now.
We gave tremendous for child care.
Like, he brought it up.
Our tax cuts, which are the biggest in history, our tax cuts are coming due, as you know, very soon. And if the Democrats don't renew them or make it impossible to renew because it's pretty close in terms of vote, if they don't renew them, it's the equivalent of having a 4 times tax increase from what you have right now, and it'll destroy the economy. I think they're under tremendous pressure to do it. I've never seen, all my life I grow up and I watch politics, and I used to be on the other side of politics first, then I run for office. But in all the years of studying politics, I've never seen people get elected by saying, we're going to give you a tax increase. These guys get up, think of it. We're going to give you no security. We're going to give you a weak military. We're going to give you no walls, no borders, no anything. All these things they're doing. I mean, the transgender became
Kamala
such a
didn't
big
say I
thing,
support an
but
arms
they do all of
embargo.
these things,
I know.
But they always say, we're going to give you a tax increase.
I know.
I never
I
heard
hate
anybody
that.
campaign on a tax increase. A politician has always said, I will cut taxes. I'll give you one example. Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. I am going to leave Social Security. I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age. I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security.
Bro, everything that comes out about Tim Walz makes me love him more. We'll get to that in a second.
No tax on tips. So waiters, waitresses, caddies, people that drive cars, people that get tips who have been harassed by this government, we're going to have no tax on tips. That's a big thing. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Sure. Because other people have done far bigger things than Steve Bannon. Sure. It's politically motivated. I think it's a horrible thing they did. Look, They've weaponized government against me. Look at the Florida case. It was a totally weaponized case. All of these cases, by the way, the New York cases are totally controlled out of the Department of Justice. They sent their top person to the various places. They went to the AG's office, got that one going. Then he went to the DA's office, got that one going, ran through it. No, this is all politics, and it's a disgrace. Never happened in this country. It's very common that it happens, but not in our country. It happens in banana republics and third world countries, and that's what we're becoming. We have no borders. We have bad voting regulations. Anytime
no borders.
You have mail-in ballots, you're going to have problems. France learned that lesson. You know, France had all mail-in voting, and they went back to paper ballots, voter identification, voter ID. They went back to a normal system, one-day voting. They don't want to be around, voting for 64 days. And look, the election, I keep talking about November 5th, but the election really starts on September 6th. That's when it starts because it's early voting. We should have one-day voting. We should have paper ballots. We should have voter ID, and we should have proof of citizenship. Please.
I think Trump is literally a mail-in voter, for the record.
For who?
He votes from a state that has also mail-in voting, Florida, and he himself is a mail-in ballot voter. So it's additionally funny that he constantly shits on it. There are plenty of Republican deep red states in this country that also have universal ballot registration and mail-in voting. Utah being one of them.
He's a big believer in the country, but he's very worried about the country.
So
he's very worried about the
now
country.
he can vote, by the way.
And I don't know if it's good for him politically.
If he was registered in the state of New York, I don't know if he'd be able to vote. But in the state of Florida, in the state of Florida, it defers back to the actual state. And because in the state of New York, he is allowed to vote despite his felon status, he will be able to vote. No, he is able to vote.
This danger. Okay, please.
If he was prosecuted for the same crime in the state of Florida, he would not be able to vote. In the state of Florida, they defer to the individual state. In the state of New York, you are allowed to vote as a convict.
Yeah, the polls have suggested. There are some polls that say we're going to win in a landslide. People are voting with their stomachs, meaning they're going to the grocery store. They're paying 50, 60, 70% more for food than they did just a couple of years ago. Look at what's happened to energy. Look at what's happened not only to their cars, where gasoline's gone from $1.87, $1.87, and we had moments when it was below that.
No, okay, chatters. Trump got criminally convicted in the state of New York. In the state of Florida, where he votes, where he has permanent residence, Florida defers to the individual state where you got your conviction from. So if he was actually convicted in the state of Florida, he would not be able to vote. But because he was convicted in the state of New York, Florida defers to New York, and New York allows you to vote as a felon. Therefore, he can vote.
And it's had very little impact. But you know what?
So woke rules is what is allowing him to fucking vote in the state of Florida right now.
It's never been this low.
Like woke liberal rules is why he is still allowed to vote. He would not be able to vote if he got criminally convicted in the state of Florida.
$22 a barrel, and now it's going to be close to 100 pretty soon, my opinion. And the Democrats didn't want to do that, but we bought a lot anyway, and we had it pretty good. And what they've done to the national reserves, the strategic national reserves, is, as you know very well, because you cover it. But what
you fucking dumbasses, you streamed the Olympics in the fucking Discord and you lost streaming privileges? Oh my Lord, dude, y'all are so dumb. I mean, seriously, good job, guys. Good job. Anyway, is this him avoiding debate? No, he literally he officially announced 4 debates. Like I'm officially announcing the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. Why is he?
Sure,
he looks frozen. Anyway, Harris Campus agreed to the ABC September 10 debate only. One so far. Anyway, the 3-minute ad break is upon us. Bye bye to Hoscord. Get fucking nuked. Okay. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Okay. Yes, please. On what? No, I think she's actually not as smart as he is. I don't think he's very smart either, by the way. I'm not a big fan of his brain, but I think that she's actually not as smart as he is.
Magathy, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift of subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour.
She represents certain groups of people, but I will say this. When people find out about her, I think she'll be much less. And I see it right now. I see her going way down to the polls now. Now that people are finding out that she destroyed San Francisco, she destroyed the state of California along with Governor Gavin Newsom. He's been a terrible governor. Terrible.
That one's a banger. Newsom is a banger.
And she was early. I mean, she was the first of the prosecutors, really. You know, now you see Philadelphia, you see Los Angeles, you see New York, you see various people that are very bad. But she was the first of the bad prosecutors. She was early. Who? Would you repeat that, please? No, you. Would you repeat her, what she said? You have to speak up. This room is very louder. Do you hear her? A daily press briefing? Why would I do that? I would give you all the press briefings you want. Look what I'm doing here. But why would I do a daily press? You'd get tired of me very fast. No, but I will give you total access, and you'll have a lot of press briefings, and you'll have from me. Now, are you talking about from me or from a press secretary? Well, yeah, probably they'll do something. If it's not daily, it's going to be a lot. You'll have more than you want. Yeah, please. I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. You know, with Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that. But I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be very
you led the chance
for our country. And we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then, after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get.
God, he is my content god. I am going to miss him, dude. I'm going to miss him. He is such a content god.
The wife of a president of the United States. And then when it's my turn, nobody thinks that way. I thought it was a very
He's straight up worried that people are chanting lock him up at the fucking Democrat rallies, dude.
In terms of the country and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail, and I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she did. I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party, because we're a party of common sense. And I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low taxes. I want to have strong
he's
borders.
delusional.
I want to have a strong military so that
75%. Trump has never had that kind of approval rating, like ever.
They're natural
in his
enemies.
Peak moments, he didn't have that.
Because China needs more land and Russia has it. They've always been natural enemies. And because of Obama, it started with him.
Oh, he's doing the Vivek shit.
Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was
doing. He's doing the Vivek shit. Oh my God. Oh my God. He's doing Reddit. He's doing Reddit Groiper memes. He's doing Tucker Carlson. He's doing, we got to realign with Russia against China. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, dude, this kind of shit is so awesome. If he stays to the foreign policy of like, no new wars under my leadership, Democrats love wars, that is actually a pretty solid way to do it. But the moment that he starts talking about like foreign policy and being like, we got to change our realignment with Russia and like have Russia be our ally against China, that's the greater enemy. All that stuff is boring, nerdy. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody thinks about it beyond the fact that you're just saying that. Okay?
She's incompetent.
And the people that do give a fuck about it are going to look at you and go, what are you talking about? Ukraine, we're dumping all of our surplus weapons into that fucking country. Like, the people that do care about it, the actual military industrial complex, they are going to look at that and go, dude, you're fucking delusional. That's bad foreign policy in general. It's
bright as balls in the
awesome.
ceiling. That I can
This
tell
is
you.
an awesome way to just completely boulder your own
Not
argument.
lately, he couldn't, perhaps. But she should be doing interviews. She doesn't want to do interviews.
People fucking hate
reason
China,
she
though.
doesn't is,
Yeah,
number
you know
one, her
who else they
policies
hate?
are so-
Russia, bro.
Just to answer your question, I think that it's not going to change.
But
Because
you know
it's
what they
really
like?
Ultimately,
Peace.
not about her as much as about her policies. She wants open borders. She
But
wants
it
to
is
defund
like
the
NATO
police.
over
She
Joe
wants to
Biden,
defund
right?
the
It doesn't
police.
negatively
She wants to
polarize us
take away your
either.
guns.
Or does it? Yeah,
Anybody
nobody
that
gives a
thinks they're
fuck
not gonna
about it.
come-
That's why I kept telling Biden to shut the fuck up about bringing in Sweden and Finland into NATO. No, dude, no voter is going, oh my God, we got Sweden and Finland into NATO. Oh, I'm definitely voting for Joe Biden now. Just like no one is going to be like, yeah, we really got to retriangulate our alliances with Russia so that Russia could be an ally against our battle that we're going to be waging with fucking China. No one thinks like this.
This House has guns. We will use the guns. They say, let's pass. We'll go someplace else. You have to have them.
What? Don't end it if
And for
5K
4
people
years,
leave.
and,
Ha
as you
ha.
know, the
What?
NRA endorsed me very powerfully every time I ran. Every time. My sons are members, and I guess indirectly I'm a member too. But
Of
they
the
gave me the
IRGC.
strongest of endorsements, and that's against very strong competition. People that felt the same way. No, you have to have that right. Our Second Amendment is a very important right, and it has to be protected. Okay, how about you? Go ahead.
Now do a terrible top of the hour break. I already did it.
So there are some of the most brilliant people on Wall Street that are saying that if President Trump doesn't win, you're going to have a depression. I happen to agree. I think that's true. Because I know how bad these people are. You know, they like to say that they did this and that. You saw the $7 trillion that they said it was me for $7 trillion. It wasn't me. It was them. They said that I had inflation. They took over 9% inflation. No, I had 1% inflation. I had actually no inflation because if you look at the categories, we had just about no inflation. But I had a very minor, I actually had a positive inflation. It was a perfect number because you don't want zero. I mean, I'm not going to give you a whole course on economics, but you don't want zero. 1%, 1.4% is great. You want a little bit because you don't want to have
best
deflation.
inflation number.
Is, in many ways, even worse. I had a perfect number right around the 1% number. It was perfect. And to show you, it stayed there for 2 years. And then he did all of the different borrowings that he did. And then he did so many things wrong. Every time he would do it, I'd say, big mistake. And don't forget, they sell hats and they sell stories. Trump was right about everything. I have been right about a lot. Yes, Maggie. Well, we had a commission like other people do, and it's always complicated and it's always controversial. And we had commissions that, and I think of respected people, you know many of the people on the commission, and they would recommend to me certain pardons for certain people. Some people were treated very harshly. A fantastic woman, as you know, she served 24 years for being on a phone call having to do with drugs. You know who I'm talking about. She was great. And she had another 24 years to go. And it was largely about marijuana, which in many cases is now legalized, okay? But we had many very highly regarded people on a commission, and they'd recommend, and they'd put a reason why. Some people were, served time, but they served a lot of time for something that today people wouldn't even serve time by. Well, for the most part, I think they did. I mean, they did. They go through. They went through. I had a commission. It was a very important commission to me, and highly respected people. And frankly, they came up with some decisions that I wouldn't necessarily agree with, but I did it. But I let a lot of people out that had no representation. I went to people in jails, in prison that we respected. I said, how many of these people should be let out? We let out large groups of low-income people that were serving like 40 years for something that today you wouldn't even be put in jail for.
What?
We had very few people let out because I said, I really don't want to let people out where they had a lot of violence, where they had killing, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part, we didn't do that. Yeah, please.
Let's fucking go. Content, baby. Content. So much content coming our way. So much content coming our way.
On defense? Federal Reserve.
I'm eating.
Right.
We're eating.
He's doing well. The Federal Reserve is a very interesting thing, and it's sort of gotten it wrong a lot. And he's tending to be a little bit late on things. He gets a little bit too early and a little bit too late. And, you know, that's very largely it's a gut feeling. I believe it's really a gut feeling. And I used to have it out with him. I had it out with him a couple of times very strongly. I fought him very hard.
It's fucked up, but true.
You know, we get along fine. We get along fine. But I feel the president should have at least say in there. Yeah, I feel that strongly. I think that in my case,
we'll talk about this.
A lot of money. I was very successful, and I think I have a better instinct.
I'm almost certain I know what happened here. Like, I'm almost certain because I'm talking to the DNC. Like, I'm talking to the marketing agency that's like doing DNC operations as well. And I'm almost certain I know exactly what happened there. I don't think it was a staffer.
Well, as we legalize it, I start to agree a lot more because, you know, it's being illegalized all over the country. Florida has something coming up. I'll be making a statement about that fairly soon. But as we legalize it throughout the country, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's awfully hard to have people all over the jails that are in jail right now for something that's legal. So I think, obviously, there's a lot of sentiment to doing that. Yeah, please.
No, the Secret Service part of it also makes sense. I'll talk to you guys about it in a second. I'll explain it in a second after this. Because, like, I had to also apply for Secret Service credentials.
Because she's the one
if you do anything with the DNC, you have to apply for Secret Service credentials. If you do anything for the RNC, you have to apply for the Secret Service credentials.
But you'll have to
That's
ask
normal.
her.
I'll explain it in a second
I've
after this
known
is
her
over.
For a long time. I actually contributed to her campaign a long time ago because I was a developer. I contributed to lots of campaigns of Democrats, Republicans.
Is this presser helping Trump at all? Fucking
some
helping him lose, maybe. No.
But,
it's terrible.
To me, it doesn't matter.
He's low energy.
But to
He's
her, from her
flailing.
standpoint,
He's
I
saying
think
the
it's very
most
disrespectful
insane,
to
unhinged
vote,
shit.
really.
The media
Whether
is
it's Indian or
desperate for
black, I think
Trump
it's very
opportunities
disrespectful.
so they
To
can
me, it
clip him.
doesn't matter.
The Clippers are going to go nutty with this,
Please, red
okay?
dress, red dress.
Are you a Soros asset? Yes. George Soros is what funds most of my
Pretty
most of my
much
chat.
recovered, yeah. I'm a fast healer. It's a hell of a shot, but I'm a fast healer. Yeah, pretty much recovered.
Do you have any hearing damage from?
No, it didn't hit that. I got very lucky. It just hit the lobe, as they call it.
Is there a scar on your ear?
Yeah, a little bit, not much. On top. A little bit. Yeah. Well, we're starting that, yeah.
What are you really talking about here? How will you pay for it?
We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country because we have no choice. It's not sustainable. And we are going to start with violent criminals, and we're going to start then with criminals. And our local police is going to work with us because they know everything about the people. They know their names. They know everything about them. They know their middle name. They know their numbers. And as you know, the other side is trying. You know, look, for years I wondered, why are they allowing these people to come in at levels like this? It was incredible. And I said two reasons. They're either really stupid, and I don't believe they're stupid, because anybody that can cheat on elections like they cheat is not stupid. Or, in the alternative, they have bad motives or they hate our country. And I used to think they hate our country. But lately I've seen where they're trying to sign these people up to vote. And they have to stop. They cannot let illegal immigrants vote in this upcoming election. All right, one more question. Go ahead, one more. Make it a good one, please.
Oh, make it a good one.
Right.
Experts say that the policy can increase the deficit by $1.6 trillion. So how would it work?
We have so many ways of making money in this country. We're not going to affect our Social Security. We're not changing it. And I proved that over 4 years. And we're going to do it. It's very unfair to people. They spend their life and they're great citizens and they pay in. We're not going to charge tax to Social Security, the seniors. We're not going to do it. We're not going to charge. And also tax. I say the two things. We're going to have no tax on seniors, Social Security, and we're going to have no tax on tips. Very simple. And we are a country that has so many different ways to make money. We have under our feet more liquid gold, I call it oil, and gas, than any country in the world, much more than Saudi Arabia, much more than Russia. We have so many different ways we can make money. We're not going to hurt our seniors with Social Security, and we're not going to charge them tax, okay? We should not have sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities is a way of protecting criminals, and we should not have sanctuary cities. And if you go to California, and I know it well, I have property out there, great property. If you go to California and you ask the people of California, do they like the idea of sanctuary cities? They don't like it. They're tired of it. They're tired of crime. They're tired of what's happened to our country. Our country's become a crime-ridden mess, and we're going to stop it on November 5th. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
My goat. Look at him walk away. Pressure will now start mounting on Kamala to take questions on her policies. Yeah, good. Kamala is campaigning, but she also has to do some adversarial conversations with the media. And it's going to be very important. It's going to be very important for her to stay on message and not fucking cave, not capitulate, not tack right. Don't do any of that. Okay? Do we need to watch the beginning? We missed like the first 30 seconds, I think. Or do we miss the first 30 minutes?
World war, in my opinion.
The media, not protesters? No, the media is important because they will bring up the protesters. I don't know. You look pretty bored by the end of that speech. No, I know. So someone in Discord fucked, and now we're in hot water with the Olympics. I know, man. Shut the fuck up. I know. Discord literally, you guys don't deserve anything. You deserve less. Okay. You in the Discord, you deserve less. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you can't have fucking live streaming privileges in the fucking Discord server. Okay. That's it. Like you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? The IOC is literally one of the most litigious fucking institutions on the planet. What are you doing? So dumb. Yeah. What about anime night? Yeah. Get fucked, anime night. You can't do any of that. Like, you streamed the Olympics? What the fuck are you doing? This is also yet another example that I have no control over the fucking Discord. It's for you, by you. Probably a bad idea in general, but you know, you're nuts for thinking that you can fucking live stream the Olympics. Get fucked. Yeah. For you, by you. This is where it went wrong. It's true. Anyway, they copyrighted our 1 second clip of the Olympics. The pod instantly. I had to cut it. Yeah, y'all are crazy. We had to take down our Iman Khalif video.